the entire pack, the CEO, the gentleman that is running everything, is doing all that he can with urgency to get as many products into your hand as possible. But Tom Jr., welcome to the call, my friend. We are so glad you're here. You are a difference maker. I wish everybody, and everyone's not going to get a chance to do that probably, but I wish they knew you like a lot of us leaders know you, and just how down to earth and just honest and full of integrity that you are. And you also have vision, and you're ahead of the game. You killed it with this Sizzle Sport. You killed it with Sizzle Thin, and Junior just nailed it with the Rip, and the Sizzling is crazy good. We have an entire package. I went in to talk to two doctors yesterday, and they want both. They want the kits. They want the weight loss kits, and and it's just kind of exciting, and it's because the science is behind it. Now, one thing I want you to kind of help us with on Thin, I know you're going to talk about your 4 favorite products. That's kind of what the request was, but the BHB, that we can kind of wrap our brains around that in the Thin, and a little bit about that would help too. But first of all, how you doing? And welcome to the call. And we're just glad to have you, buddy.
Well, DW, thanks for having me today, and I thoroughly enjoy hearing everything that people are doing out there and seeing all the great results. And I don't want to go out on a limb and jinx it, but I think we're going to have another record month this month, have an all-time high, and people are out there spreading the mission and doing great things. And yes, I am the CEO, but I'll tell you what, it takes an entire team to make things happen in the field and here at home. And we have never had a better unified team working in harmony together, and the results are amazing. But I'm doing great. It's amazing when you're losing weight, you feel great, you're looking good, and it's kind of fun. In fact, this morning I was going through and I threw a couple shirts out that I don't want to wear anymore, and it's kind of fun to get into a new wardrobe. And but what's even more fun for me are seeing the results that people are having, and I tell the sales teams and the marketing teams, keep feeding me these stories, because this puts the fire in my boiler to keep going forward and doing what I love to do. And so I'm doing great, DW. I'm thrilled to be on the call this morning.
Well, we're glad to have you, and it is what's interesting already. This is the biggest February that our team, and then we're talking about everybody on this call, most likely, our team has had ever. The biggest February of all times. I mean, because when you come into February, a lot of times people kind of cringe, February is a short month. Well, if you look at it like that, just, put a little hustle to it, and it can happen. Not only that, we set a record last month, and I based on Miss Helen's projections and what we're seeing and what Laura Bacini's saying as well, and Ray and Doc Fizz and Tim and Pat, we're going to break last month's record. In other words, we have a new all-time record. And one of the reasons is because we stayed fired up and focused about how the products can do. So one of the requests that we had is to talk about 4 of your favorite products. But can you pop into Thin and maybe a little bit of Sport before we jump into maybe a couple other your favorites as well? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a hard thing for me to do, to talk about my 4 favorite products, because I love every one of the products, seeing the science behind them and what they do. So maybe what I'll do is maybe talk about this time of the year and where I am at and what my favorite products are. And obviously weight loss right now is a big one for me personally and people in the field and for the company. And as exciting as it is to see you watch the news and people are losing their jobs and they're wondering if they're going to, how they're going to feed their families. It is so exciting to see people making more money and building a business so that they can bless the lives of those people that they love. So right now, this time of year, and where we're at in this season and at the company, obviously my 4 favorite products are going to be Sizzle Thin. It's going to be Sizzle Sport. But with that also comes the need for protein and comes the need for fiber. And so even though obviously, anti-aging is always an underlying theme. I want to age better, live longer, have a healthier lifestyle. So the triangle of life, TSX, Age Pill, Stimulytic, that's always kind of a base. But for the season, for me right now, it's those products that really tie into weight loss with what I'm doing and personally and what we're doing in the field. In fact, I'm going to encourage everybody, you really need to get involved. If you're just consuming products and you want to talk about weight loss, if you're building a business and right now you're focusing on weight loss, you need to be on the Monday call. In fact, this Monday, I'm going to be on the call, and I'm going to talk about some other ancillary things that help us with weight loss in conjunction with the two hottest products that we've had in a long time, Sizzle Sport and Sizzle Thin, and some other things, because now that people have, dropped the 25, 30 pounds, one thing your body does, it's easy at first, or easier, and then you start to plateau. And so we're going to talk about some of those things Monday. Talking about Sizzle Thin, BHBs are a piece of the weight loss puzzle, absolutely. And they were something that really got me excited. The Atkins diet, the Paleo diet, the keto diet, all of these things have an underlying theme of get your body into ketosis. Well, and then maintain ketosis. Well, BHBs, I guess we could say, kind of give you the fudge factor. What they do is produce ketones instantly to where your brain flips that switch and says, we're in ketosis, so no longer are we running on coal, now we're running on gas. And so they switch you from going from carbs to want your body leaning towards burning fat. One thing I've noticed over the last 2 months since we've launched this product, we're getting trainers, weight loss clinics, people who can see that someone comes into a gym and they're like, well, I don't train you, and you're coming in here and walking on a treadmill, but you're losing weight faster than the people I am training, and I'm pushing them. What are you doing? And they tell them, and boy, what does it do? They're convinced right off the get-go. How do I take my mediocre to good results with me whipping somebody into shape and accelerate them? And that comes with Sizzle Sport and Sizzle Thin. So when we consume the BHBs in Sizzle Thin, it obviously goes into the gut, and the byproduct of burning fat are ketones. And so as it processes through the liver, and ketones are brain fuel. And because when our brain's satisfied, it doesn't tell us that we're hungry. It doesn't tell us that we need to have a donut, eat a candy bar, those fast carbs, because ketones burn great and they nutrify our body. And so I shouldn't say nutrify our body, they energize our body. Nutrition comes through proteins and fiber and vitamins and minerals, but they give us the energy like our body is trying to consume with simple sugars. The nice thing about it, ketones are not stored as fat. Sugar is. Carbohydrates are. You have a little too much, guess what? Your body says, better pack that away for a rainy day, because there might come a time that you're going to be in a hunger situation. We're going to need that fat. And so we don't have that problem with ketones. And so by keeping our brain energized, that makes it so much easier to think, I'm not as hungry as normal. I can eat a meal of 400 or 500 calories, and I'm satisfied. And so that really switches us. That's really the key to these BHB molecules, and there's more that I'm going to talk a little bit about talking maybe a little about Balance D come Monday night. So I really want to encourage people to be on that call. But I'm thrilled to be where I'm at now, and I've just got to put one shout out to how thankful I am. You always call this call abundance, and I've had a very abundant life, and I've got to put a shout out to my father and give him the grateful spirit that I have for him being a mentor in my life, because he has guided me through 58 years of where I am now, and we're really a summation of all the life experience that we have, and he prepared me for what we do now and where we go from now, and I'm working on products for weight loss for next year. In fact, I've got a couple of those done for next year, and what you'll see is we're going to move heavily into more skin and hair care coming up over the next few months, and it's an exciting time to be part of Sizzle. And when you see doom and gloom in the world, boy, I'll tell you what, to see what Sizzle can produce for everybody, for whatever they're looking in life. And one thing I'd like to just touch upon, listening to Laura talk about the coffee, that is exciting. And I know somebody purchased 100 of them yesterday, and I thought, I hope they don't try and consume all those in the next 30 days. They won't get a good night's sleep. But that's a lot of coffee. But it's the world's healthiest coffee. There is not a coffee out there that has a higher ORAC value for neutralizing free radicals, and that leads into better skin, better health. Obviously, there's a lot tied to a lot of ailments, cancer and things. When we have a lot of antioxidants in our system, that definitely that removes that away. So if you're going to drink coffee, you might as well drink the world's very best. And the nice thing about Sizzle, where I see a lot of our competitors going down in sales, we have many businesses within the business. So if a product that is on back order, I mean, now we're into single-digit back orders, and obviously we're seeing all of these products coming off, and going back a year ago when supply chains broke, and we doubled and tripled all of our purchase orders. Now we're seeing the fruits of those times, but Sizzle has many businesses wrapped up in this business. If your interest is in the safest skin and hair care, there's a business. If your business is really centered around anti-aging, there is nobody that has the science-backed products that we have. And you can get on there and research these ingredients and find, wow, these are the very best. And then obviously with weight loss, there's no one that's competing. This is a Sizzle-only formulation. And, one advantage I have, I've done a lot of contract manufacturing over the years too, and formulated a lot of products. But the very best of the best is only at Sizzle. And so, DW, I'm thrilled to be on the call, and I really look forward to being on the Monday call.
Well, Monday's going to be a blast, and we're got that, be promoting that starting this afternoon quite a little bit, but here today. When we're talking about the Sizzle Sport, one of the things is the results we're getting. It's like a power product. But you mentioned something when you first talked about it that if you could touch on it now, it would be appreciated. How it has the healthy caffeine, but that caffeine is suspended over a period of time, and and that it really enhances the blood flow. I mean, it's got a little bit of niacin in it as well, I believe, which is a vitamin D, if I'm not mistaken, that converts food into energy. But we're getting such great results with that. I mean, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and so, and it kind of falls under the title of a pre-workout, but it's much more than that. You're right, it has a B vitamin and niacin that helps with the blood flow and circulation. It also has the ability to increase nitric oxide levels, which help dilation of arteries so that we get bigger and better blood flow. Well, you may be pumping iron in the gym, but you also might be working hard on the farm, or you might be sitting at a desk. Everybody with increased blood flow gets more nutrition and better mental focus, and a lot of people should be, and we find are taking it just for the mental focus. In regards to your caffeine comment, absolutely. and basically you encode it to where it's multi-layered randomly, and so it disintegrates and is absorbed at a slower rate, a portion of that, to where that's where you get your sustained energy of the caffeine to kind of keep you going, and why these other great things are happening, why nitric oxide levels are increasing. But then if you are looking for a pre-workout, we have a monocreatine hydrate in the formulation, so it helps you with muscle building if that's where you want to go. It helps you with mental focus if that's where you want to go. It's a non-artificial sweetened product, and so if you're looking to get off a very sugary drink that you're used to drinking, like many people are, it's a great substitute for that. And so even though we say pre-workout, it's a product for everybody, and it has many, many things to it. I mean, one thing that I tend to do and have to stop, I have another nutritional product that I'm hoping here in the next few months that we're going to bring out, but where in R&D last week, I finally had to say stop, because one problem I have is I'll get going down a rabbit hole. I'll say, well, that's good for skin, but also it has a benefit for nails and hair, or this or that, and pretty soon I'm off on vitamin A and what forms, and vitamin E and vitamin D, and pretty soon I've got a cost of a product that makes it prohibitive to sell, and so I finally just have to tell myself, stop, that's enough. I mean, there's BHB products out there, but nobody has Sizzle Thin. Nobody has it like we have it with the fucoxanthin to prepare fat, to increase thermogenesis. Nobody has ashwagandha and limamui. We're looking for insulin control, and there's so many more benefits because it is a puzzle, and it's picking up these pieces. And the exciting things about it, if you follow the science, what you see is it's 5-10 years out there, and there are studies, and obviously 99% of them come to a dead end, but there's some incredible research that goes on out there. Unfortunately, when you go to the retail market and you look at products, what they're looking at is, how do I entice you to buy it? I think red's a better color. I think $9.99 is a good price point. And it's like if you go to a couple of the major retailers, you see fish oil. But they don't talk about, you need 320 milligrams of EPA. You need 220 milligrams of DHA. That's where the science says those are the actives that are found in fish oil, and obviously that is in our Super Omega product. But you follow the science out there, you're way ahead of what's on the Amazons and the retail store markets, because they're looking for price and the right level on the shelf and the end of aisle and those things to entice people to buy those. And so we've got a lot of exciting things, and I'll tell you what, we're going to have another record this month because of the great efforts of everyone out there sharing the Sizzle mission. But get on these other calls. One thing we do find, just as a side note, those that participate in meetings, those who share their testimony, and those who get on the calls, there is a direct correlation with the success that they see in weight loss, the success that they see in business building, and their overall attitude about what they're doing increases, and they deal on the optimistic, positive side of things. So really encourage people who might be struggling with weight loss, might be struggling with building their business, be a part of it. It's fun, and it's highly rewarding.
Well, it sure is, and it's a blast. I mean, one of the things that a lot of people are very excited about, along with myself, is that just a notch in the belt's gone. I mean, just something that simple, because your scales can't tell you how many inches you've lost and that kind of thing. Now, one thing happened, we got a call this week, and had a client give us a call and said, I need some B5s. And doctor says, I've got to load up on B5s. And we immediately went right to Encompass 360. I mean, you realize this, but I was going to say, do you realize how powerful Encompass 360 is? And not only do you have a B5 there, you got two B5s. And they've got like the bomb diddly stuff in both of them. And I'm like, Are you serious already? I mean, when you're talking about like what doctors are recommending, and we already have it beyond what they even feel is the minimums. And anything you want to say about Encompass 360 before we have to move on? I don't want to move on. I want you to talk for 2 hours.
Well, you bring out a good point. And so, from a marketing and a sales perspective, 48% of all people buy a multivitamin and mineral. And so, going back years ago when I formulated that product, I thought, and at the time we did not have a multivitamin and mineral product. And so I thought, let me investigate this. Let me, see what the amounts are that are correlated to studies. And I don't have one here right off my desk, but if you look, you'll see odd amounts of RDIs. You might see 1,000%. You might see 1,200. You might see 400. You'll see a random amount. Each of these are associated with studies that are beneficial to our health. So I didn't just say we need 100% of RDI, there you go, because there's increased levels of many of these, and some of these are tied to the average amount of that vitamin or mineral that people are deficient in their normal diet too. And so as I went through this, 48% of people out there who are not involved in the industry consume this. And I thought, this is a real foundational product that we need, but we need to do it better. And at that point, kind of talking about going down the rabbit hole, I thought about the things that affect the intake of vitamins and minerals and the cofactors that make them effective. I mean, we know calcium. You have to have vitamin D. You have to have vitamin K. You have to have magnesium. All of these things that are associated with that. Well, once again, you need antioxidants in your system because many times the vitamins that you're taking or the minerals are antioxidants. That's one of the benefits. Well, I didn't want to neutralize the effect I'm looking from a nutritional value from an antioxidant value, so I put a blend in there also of that formulation, and once again, pretty soon I'm going down a few rabbit holes, but there are many different products in that product that it is really a value for people from a monetary standpoint, but it's an over-the-top value from a nutritional standpoint. So it's a product that you could talk to anybody about, and you could take whatever they're buying, and you could compare it, and they would be, wow, this is 4 or 5 products in one. And if you really wanted to dig into it, you could get into the research of why there are these different amounts that are, greatly exceed the RDI values that are just recommended as daily intake. And so, yeah, Encompass 360 is 360 because it is full circle. It covers everything that you need for these cofactors, these building blocks, these antioxidants that people should be consuming every day to complete the deficiencies that they have in their everyday diets.
Well, and that's amazing. And so when I was able to, and I think I just sent that to you, but I was able to go and just, take a picture of the, all that's in that, and send it to that client. And it's pretty spectacular on those 2 B5s. I don't know, one's what, biotin or something like that? B5, I didn't know what that meant. But when they seen, they took it to their doctor.
You have 100% of that, and that really is linked to hair, skin, nails. There's a lot of studies that are associated with these vitamins for, you'll hear women take prenatal vitamins. So if you have a developing baby, those type of things. The B12 vitamins, 2,000% more of that formula in that formulation. Well, that has a lot to do with cognizance. And each one of these are associated with the time studies that I went out and cross-referenced and investigated that had benefits in all of the different areas where people are deficient. I mean, we have vitamin K at 170% in there. Well, what does that help? That helps us take up the calcium to nutrify our osteocytes within our bones to build stronger and better bone mass. And without it, you can take all the calcium you want, and it'll pass right through your system. And so, yeah, it's a tremendous product that fills in the holes of our nutrition as we go about our day.
Well, it's just amazing. And what was fun is that, doctor makes a request and then we have an answer. I mean, that's the difference between what we're doing than the average bear out there. Because the truth is, you talked about your father, and one thing we've all learned from him, he never believed in, nor did he do. Even if it would have, well, he never did minimums. He didn't believe in doing minimums.
Oh.
And when you built this product right here, and you put that together, you didn't do minimums. You did maximums, man. That's just that kind of a business mentality and attitude is it's what's propelling us to have the months like we're having during a pandemic like we've almost finished up with. I think it's whatever. We won't get into all that. All right, we'll leave that alone. But going through that pandemic and shutdowns and all that stuff. So because you did maximums on all your products, when you guys built something, you didn't build a pillar to hold a house. You built a pillar to hold a massive complex, like a 9 million story building. And I just want to say thank you.
Oh, absolutely, and it's highly rewarding. And the more people talk about this, the faster it grows, and the better people's lives are enriched in the health and nutrition, the weight loss, the business building. And so get out there, but really get involved with the calls, share the calls, and bring people up nutritional concern. But Encompass, I'm glad you brought that up, DW, because Encompass is a very foundational product that everybody needs to take. And it's funny, I have the products I leave on my desk at work. I have the products I leave on the counter at my home. I have some in my truck. And, I just kind of know when I need what during the day. And, pretty soon you get into a routine of that. But the overall effects are astounding. And, it's an exciting time to be part of Sizzle.
Of course, one of the things I wanted to talk about, which we don't have time for, I don't think, but I have time, but you got a life and a schedule and the whole bit as well. But Triangle of Life is another game changer for me personally, and just about every family member. I put it on there. We also have parents. A lot of us have parents. They're in their 80s, and my dad's 87. Helen's mom and dads are the same age. And the Brain Vitality, along with the Encompass and the Omega Plus and Eternity, just to fuel their brain, has been a game changer.
Let me say one thing about the Triangle before we go.
Okay.
So it was. I know, and then I'll let you go. But the Triangle, that's interesting. I'm glad you bring that up too. And that is, I remember when Dad came up with that and said, "Tom, we need to trademark that name, because what we have developed here and the research which has gone through the roof with Lima Mui and the studies with these unique fucoidin molecules and what they do for all of the different cofactors that affect aging is astounding." And at the time, obviously resveratrol, those studies had come out, and Dr. Sinclair, what he had done, and so of course with resveratrol we dig into, is it better in a capsule, a tablet? Well, obviously liquid was the most bioavailable form. And then, Dr. Aubrey de Grey and others, thousands of others, realized that our bodies are rusting away. We need to have antioxidants, and that's something in my previous company that I had developed at that time, which I thought was revolutionary, a 7-ingredient antioxidant formulation back when everything was pycnogenol or pine bark extract or grapeseed extract as a great antioxidant. But one thing I didn't address was the fact all free radicals are not the same, and one key does not fit all locks. And And so, in fact, if you get on you ever watch television, you'll see that there's a really big push in marketing with I forget the name of the product now, but they have 15 different fruits and vegetables in one formula and 16 in another. You've got over 40 in SpectraMax, and these guys are putting tens of millions of dollars of advertising. And I applaud them. They're on the right track, but there are tens of thousands of free radicals out there. And lycopene from tomatoes is not the same as proanthocyanidins coming from grape skin. And there is some overlap between these, but you need broad spectrum. 97% of all aging is due to free radical damage. 97% of a lot of other diseases and ailments are due to free radical damage. So when Dad said, you know what, we need to trademark that name, Triangle of Life, because these are 3 pillar products that affect us with healthy aging in our life to combat the external factors that degrade the quality of our health and our life. And so I won't go on any further than that, but that is a real key point.
Well, you brought something up, because when I first talked to your dad, I said, I'm really excited about an OPC product that's helped me a lot when it comes to allergies and so forth. And he goes, well, which OPC3? Well, I didn't want to look like a dummy. I said, well, OPC3. He got that little grin on his face, and you know what I'm talking about. And he goes, well, which one? And I go, well, and then he let me off the hook a little bit, which he leaves you on the hook for a while. You know how that goes. You know what I'm talking about. And then he let me off the hook, and he goes, we've got, all 3 OPC3s and both pycnogenals, and we consider that just one antioxidant. And when you're talking about oligomeric proanthocyanidins, that's a big deal, and it's right there. And so that when you brought that up, just reminded me of that very first conversation I had. Probably the first 50 words out of my mouth, or less than that, was to get into, do you have this? And it's the real question is, what don't we have? We have it all. Tom Jr., we have it all. We got the comp plan, which is abundant state. We've got Fast Start, which is awesome. We got a rewards program for just a preferred customer, even to where, we got it all. You talk about doing the happy dance here in Morrison, we have it all. And so I just get a little fired up about this stuff, but that brought up that great story about what's in it. Now, with people doing thin and going through keto and stuff, one of the things they talk about is, and all the doctors and gurus out there, they want you to make sure you got electrolytes in your system. And, I mentioned that a long time ago about electrolytes, because had someone that called me, and it was another client, said, hey, I need something that got electrolytes. You got anything in it? Well, so I got a hold of your dad, found out, when you use the SpectraMax, that's broken down into electrolytes. So, Tom Jr., we have it all. Is this not the perfect storm for someone to ride and make a massive impact in people's lives? We have it. Is that correct?
We have it all, and the problem is, if a new person comes in, you can't overwhelm them, or they get into what we've obviously coined the phrase analysis paralysis. And Aaron, early on when he joined Sizzle Family, he said, just trust the science and don't get confused with that. Find what really motivates you, and then learn to read people and see where their concerns at, because we have the answers, we have the products, and we have a business model that everybody wins. And so, absolutely. But keep it simple and talk to people about what their concerns are, and more importantly, listen to them and share your results.
Well, you have just made our day. I'm telling you, you just made our day. There's people on this call that are grinning from ear to ear, and they just could not wait. They were on the call early. Way early. You made our day. Thank you for doing that. We're going to make your day in month by closing this thing out. And, thank you so much for being such a powerful impact in our lives.
And I'll talk to everybody Monday and be on the call, and we're going to talk about some other factors that affect weight loss and going to the next level.
Everybody right there out of Springville, Utah. It's Tom Maurer Jr., CEO of Sizzle International, and live with us this morning. What's going to take place, and we're going to pop Laura back on here for a real quick second, but what's going to take place Monday night is going to be a powerful call. Aaron Renner is going to be on the call, and then Tom Maurer Jr. is going to be on there. He didn't give his tidbits that he's going to give today. He didn't what he's going to give Monday night. He didn't give it to us today. So those tidbits that are coming on Monday is going to be spectacular. Ben Cook's going to be on the call as well Monday night, and Ben has a lot to do with the technical side of marketing, and is going to talk about the upgrades and where we are with the Sizzle app. And I can tell you, just we didn't put this out in writing, when we started promoting everything, but there's some very cool upgrades along with the new features that anyone using technology will want to use. That's the inside scoop on Monday night when it comes to Ben Cook. The inside scoop on how you explode and build your business is coming from Tom Jr. and Aaron Renner. So be ready for that. Laura, this was the Bomb Dilly Bomb call. We have so many leaders on this call in multiple different organizations. And what say you about what you just heard, Laura Bacini?
What a perfect way to call people for the end of month. Check in, do your care to call calls, and also just your customer service, whatever you're calling the calls as you're calling, reaching out to people, letting them know what's going on, letting them know what's back in stock. And if you have voicemail, get it down on a piece of paper so you don't ramble, and just put, just wanted to let you know, here's what's back in stock, and then listen to this call and put today's call number on there with the reference number and say, and Monday night, don't miss it, and put that call number out there, because that's what we do. We are the messenger. We carry the information to people. And what a better way to get the information out there for somebody to hear it from Tom Jr. himself.
No better way. I mean, that's how we're going to roll. That's what's happening. You make a list of names on who you're going to get on Monday night's call. That's how we're doing this thing. That's what's going on. Dominic Bacini, can you land this plane and take it away, my friend?
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Awesome call today. We have an awesome call today because we have incredible